Look at me, now look closer. Don't be fooled by the jersey, the rings, the highlights. The real opponent I learned to fear wasn't standing across the court. He was standing right in front of me every single morning in the mirror. People love to talk about rivals, about teams, about who blocked your shot or stole your moment. They point to faces, to names, to opponents with jerseys and numbers. But the deadliest adversary has no number. He wears your face. He speaks in your voice. He shows up late at night when the lights go out and says things like, "You're tired, you did enough." He whispers, "Tomorrow will do." He convinces you that comfort is victory. That voice is the enemy. I fought guys who wanted my spot. I fought defenses that tried to break me. I fought pain and fatigue. But the hardest rounds were the ones I fought with myself, the rounds that started before sunrise, when the alarm screams and every part of you wants to stay under the covers. The hardest rounds were the times I wanted to quit and found reasons to justify it. You ever stand in the gym at 5 a.m. when the world is asleep? The ball slaps the hardwood. The echo answers nothing. That silence is dangerous. It gives room for that other voice to come alive. You're done. You're not the same. If you listen, if you agree, even once, that voice recruits excuses. It builds a fortress out of small compromises. One skipped workout, one shorter practice, 1 minute less of effort, until suddenly you don't even recognize the person in the mirror. Here's what I learned. Your enemy doesn't need to sprint at you with teeth bared. He only needs to sit quietly inside your head and make you slow down. He doesn't have to beat you in the open. He just has to make you indifferent. When I lost my edge, it wasn't because someone outplayed me. It was because I let complacency become comfortable. It was because I allowed the mirror to tell me stories that weren't true. And when that happened, every defender looked bigger, every shot looked harder, every challenge looked heavier. So if you want to find your real enemy, stop blaming the crowd, the coach, the schedule. Stop pointing to the man on the other team. Look at yourself. Look at how often you settle. Look at how many times you choose ease over excellence. That's where the fight begins. I made a habit of turning toward that mirror, not away from it. I stared down the part of me that wanted sleep more than work, the part that wanted applause more than sacrifice. I learned to train my mind like I trained my body, relentless, precise, unforgiving. Because until you beat the man in the mirror, every victory you think you've earned will be borrowed. It won't belong to you. You know what makes the enemy so dangerous? He doesn't attack you head on. He seduces you. He makes comfort look like a reward. He makes quitting sound reasonable. He says, "You've worked hard enough, you deserve a break." He says, "Why push harder? Nobody's watching anyway." He says, "What difference does one missed workout make?" And if you listen long enough, those whispers become rules. They turn into your new standard. And without realizing it, you've surrendered your edge. I had nights when I wanted to skip the gym, mornings when I hated the sound of that alarm. I had practices where every muscle screamed at me to stop. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes I did stop, sometimes I gave in. And every single time the man in the mirror grew stronger. Every time I listened to him, he stole a piece of me. But here's the truth, life doesn't care about your excuses. The scoreboard doesn't ask how tired you were. The rim doesn't lower itself because you didn't sleep well. The world keeps moving, and if you're not moving with it, you're falling behind. That's why I had to learn to fight back, to shut that voice down, to remind myself that the enemy in the mirror is clever but not unbeatable. You beat him with action, not words, not promises, action. When that voice told me to stay in bed, I stood up faster. When it told me to rest, I pushed harder. When it said tomorrow, I answered today. I refused to negotiate with weakness, because once you start negotiating with your own excuses, you've already lost. I treated every day like it was a game 7, because if you can't win against yourself in practice, how do you expect to win when the lights are on and the world is watching? I'm telling you, the greatest victories of my career didn't come in arenas packed with fans. They came in empty gyms. They came in the sweat nobody saw. They came when I dragged myself through another drill after my body begged me to quit. And you know what happened? Slowly, the man in the mirror started to change. He stopped being the enemy. He became the reminder, the challenge, the standard. Because once you've beaten him enough times, he starts working for you instead of against you, but only if you're relentless, only if you're willing to suffer through the moments when no one is watching. The mirror doesn't lie. It shows you exactly who you are. The question is, do you like what you see, Or are you going to keep letting the enemy inside win the battle you were born to fight? There came a point in my life when I stopped asking, why is this so hard? And started asking, how do I get stronger? Because the enemy doesn't disappear, he evolves. He waits for you in new forms. Doubt, fear, fatigue, failure. You can't run from him. You can only learn to use him. When I missed shots, when I lost games, when the world said I wasn't good enough, that enemy inside tried to turn those moments into scars. He wanted me to believe failure was permanent, but I flipped the script. Every miss became a lesson. Every failure became a spark. Every doubt was gasoline on my fire. See, pain doesn't have to be your prison. It can be your fuel. The enemy wants you to run from discomfort, to hide from struggle. But struggle is the forge. Struggle is where identity is built. The greatest version of yourself is shaped in the fire you're afraid to step into. I remember games where my legs were heavy, my lungs burned, and my body screamed. That's when the enemy whispered, "You're done, let go." But in that exact moment, I realized if I keep going right here, if I push through right now, I'm not just beating the opponent in front of me, I'm beating the voice inside, and that win is worth more than any scoreboard. The truth is, most people lose long before the game even starts. They lose in the decisions they make when no one's watching. They lose by letting comfort dictate their limits. They lose to the mirror, but if you flip it, if you use the mirror as your battleground, your training ground, then when you step into the real fight, nothing can touch you because you've already gone to war with the hardest opponent you'll ever face, yourself. That's why I say the enemy is not out there. He's in here. And once you realize that, the game changes. You stop fearing failure. You stop begging for easy. You start demanding challenge. You start chasing the moments that break other people because you know those are the moments that build you. I didn't chase trophies. I chased growth. I chased the chance to confront myself, to find out just how much further I could go. And every time I pushed past that enemy inside, I became something more, stronger, sharper, hungrier. So don't run from the enemy. Don't wish him away. Face him, fight him. And when you do, you'll discover the truth that he was never there to destroy you. He was there to reveal you. So hear me now. The greatest enemy you will ever face is the one staring back at you every morning. Not your boss, not your rivals, not the critics who doubt you. It's you. It's the comfort you cling to, the excuses you defend, the fear you hide behind. That's the battlefield. That's the war. And here's the truth, you don't get to escape it. Every single day you'll wake up and walk into that fight. Some days you'll win, some days you'll lose, but if you want greatness, if you want to see how far you can really go, you don't get to hide from it. You don't get to skip the mirror. You want success? Then stop lying to yourself. Stop protecting your weaknesses like they're treasures. Stop excusing laziness with pretty words like balance or self-care. You already know the difference between real recovery and plain comfort. One builds you, the other destroys you. I didn't become who I am because I was born with some special gift. I became who I am because I decided over and over again to step into that fight, to stare into the mirror and say, you will not beat me today. You want to know the secret to greatness? It's not talent, it's not luck, it's discipline, it's obsession. It's the refusal to give the enemy inside a single inch. I'll tell you something, every championship I ever won, every shot I ever hit, every record they talk about, none of it means more than the battles I won when no one was watching. The mornings I didn't quit, the nights I didn't fold, the moments I stood face to face with my own doubt and said, no, not today. That's the victory. I'm proud of stuff because that's the only victory that truly lasts. So if you're listening right now, if you're tired, if you're doubting, if you're wondering whether you've got what it takes, stop looking out there for the answer. Stop waiting for someone else to validate you. Go stand in front of a mirror, look yourself in the eye, ask the question, am I willing to go to war with this person? Am I willing to outwork, outlast, outfight the version of me that wants to quit? Because if the answer is yes, if you're willing to fight that battle, then I promise you there's not a man, not a woman, not a circumstance on this earth that can stop you. The enemy in the mirror is real, but so is the warrior, and the warrior is you. So tomorrow morning when the alarm goes off, when your body aches, when your mind whispers, not today, you know what to do. Stand tall, look in the mirror, and win.